What's up, guys? You're watching Spectre React, your favorite channel for reviews, reactions, and theories. Today, we're talking about the finale for Falcon and the Winter Soldier titled One World, One People. Here we go.
All right, so before we even get into this, we loved the episode, but there are some little teensy-weensy issues that we're going to talk about through. Number one, I think it's not too much to blame on the people involved as much as it is about the COVID virus and how we kind of got stuck in all of that. Two cameos were scrapped, according to a reliable industry insider. I'm not sure about the second one, although the first one seems very legit.
Yes, this information is coming from Daniel Richtman, who has a proven track record, so it's not BS.
Yelena Belova was supposed to be in it, but since they kept pushing Black Widow, they had to push this too. And Old Cap was rumored to be in it, but for some reason he was not also in it. We don't know why, but this explains Wyatt Russell's comments that I talked about earlier, where he was like, "Wait till you see the finale, and you'll see the relationship between Steve and me." And then also Malcolm Spellman, who was the writer behind the show, also said a lot of things about it, and that wasn't a lie. It was just cut due to miscommunication. He didn't know all the facts.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of these actors get to know what will make it to the final cut, so they kind of assume certain things will make it in and end up being disappointed.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not their fault. It was shot. I even have a thing about Paul Bettany. Even was Paul Bettany really joking when he originally said that in WandaVision? Or maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but maybe they had to cover it up as a joke later on.
Yeah, maybe Bettany was talking about Senior Scratchy being the demon the entire time, right? The demon actor having fireworks with him.
Yeah, we know we had a thing there, so who knows? Maybe. I'm not going to speculate too much on that, but let's get into the episode stuff. So, what do you think?
I thought this episode was great, and I really liked how it was structured. They cut to the action right from the start, and I thought that was a welcome change of pace from last episode, which was more on the downbeat side, down tempo.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that this whole like the COVID stuff and the scrapping of certain stuff messed with the whole way it was structured. They like rushed to the beginning fight after winding down so much. It was like all of a sudden they threw us into the fight basically, and we didn't really see the call on screen. Not that I'm complaining about that. It's not a huge deal, but I would I wish we could have seen that on screen as well.
Yeah, I think, but at the same time, if they had made that call, we wouldn't really be as surprised when Falcon made his dramatic reveal. And let's talk about that, actually.
True, true, true. Let's get on that first. Falcon cap suit, epic. It was leaked. Doesn't matter. It's still epic. It's really cool to see. Um, Cap introducing himself as Cap. I'm gonna call him Cap too now. It was cool. I like the little. I thought Cap was on the moon because it was an actual theory at some point, and they just fit it into the show. I love that. I love when they bring pop culture stuff in there, and I really appreciate how they let Sam keep his, or like not keep his original wings, but he get the vibranium wings because he doesn't have the serum, and I feel like that was so cool to him. It would have been a real travesty if they had just removed his like the huge part of his character and just like remove that completely. I think I would have been annoying.
I think this was one of the most defining moments in character development across the entire MCU. You see this guy who is barely able to run around the track, go from that to this really powerful and mature and trained superhero. I think it's really remarkable.
Yeah, and his suit was really cool. I loved how they like proved that the wings and everything was vibranium when the helicopter hit it and he was just like protecting himself. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Wakandas for supplying him with that.
Yeah. And again, how did Bucky call in a favor after the Wakandans have done him like 1,000 favors? But whatever. Whatever.
Doesn't make sense. The fight choreography was standout in this episode, and I liked how the fight that Falcon had with Batroc, or Captain America had with Batroc, was a mirroring of the original Captain America's fight with Batroc. So it was kind of like,
hmm
a milestone.
GSP was really underused. Like, I hate to UFC pun it, but like I wasn't really too impressed by his performance there, and I should stop messing with GSP, man. GSP would kill me. But like, they could have used him a lot better because he's a very strong like fighter. So if you just used him a little bit better, you didn't have to shoot him, and you didn't have to get him done that. Like Sharon just shot him, and it was over. The end of his character. I think they could have done a lot more with him instead of just using him as kind of like fan service and then having him have the most one-dimensional experience in the show in total.
Yeah, I didn't like how they killed him off. I mean, if I were writing this show, I would have kept him alive and then maybe developed some of his humanity in season two, if that's a thing.
Maybe even keep him as like a super evil villain, but I guess ending him was all part of the Sharon Carter Power Broker reveal, which we'll get to later. But first, we have to get to John Walker and his redemption. What did you think about how he like went up from there?
I gotta say, I really liked his character after, especially that the Lincoln quote he made, and then Bucky kind of ragging on that a little bit. It was good chemistry between the two, which frankly we haven't seen much of for the entirety of the show, considering they're gonna kill each other at a certain point, right?
Yeah, I guess that, like John Walker, all of a sudden he became this really like good guy after we hated on him for like 5 episodes straight. We actually kind of like him at the end. It was a very quick redemption, and I guess he's not going anywhere.
I did think it was a little bit too clean how they not only resolved the John Walker plotline, but resolved a lot of the other, the Morgenthau plotline and some of the other ones, right? It was just too clean.
hmm I feel like that's a big thing in these shows so far that they always clean it up too much. The classic thing of the MCU is at the end we see something that's like incredible. That's like that makes us think like back to the Thanos and the Avengers, just a side profile of his face that was so important to how Marvel was created. But this is so clean these days that they just end it with like perfection almost. Like they try to close everything out. I don't think they really left too much hanging, but that's a huge criticism that people have. I frankly disagree with that criticism.
I disagree as well. People are talking about how the Contessa or Madam Hydra was not used as much as they may have liked, but I think she's going to have a pretty major role in either season 2 or Cap 4.
Yeah, Contessa was a cool cameo. I really enjoyed it. As although I'm not the biggest fan of her casting, I think definitely was a strong move, and they're making it very like a likable character. But I wish she had been more of a villain instead of the current villains that we had, which were the Flagsmashers, who frankly they just were terrible. Like never cared about these guys.
I didn't feel any sympathy towards these people, and frankly, I would have been more pleased if Zemo had been the villain. I think he was underused in Civil War, and there's a lot of lore in the comics, like his skill with the sword that they certainly could have used in this show.
Not even Zemo. See, Zemo at the end was the MVP because he blew up all the Flag Smashers with his butler. That was a huge MVP moment, even in jail. But like the speaking, shout out, they put the raft in there, which was crazy, which was really awesome to see. Um, my biggest problem was that the Flag Smasher villains were just so unnecessary, and it's not all the way their fault. But I would have liked to see John Walker as the villain more instead of just him as kind of like this anti-hero kind of like hate him for a little while and like him all of a sudden. And they're saying it's because the serum affected John and John was still a good guy. And now that he's become U.S. agent officially, they just want him to use. They want to use him as an anti-hero, maybe going to the Thunderbolts possibly. But again, I would have just wanted to see him as the villain only if they had to cancel the Flag Smashers out completely. Like I would have been okay with that if they had just taken the Flag Smashers out completely.
I think this show suffers from excessive anti-hero syndrome. You've got Bucky, who initially was a murderous sociopath known as the Winter Soldier against his will, but still, that's a villain, right? And then he became an anti-hero. Then you have John Walker, right, who was initially very arrogant, and now he's an anti-hero. And finally, Zemo, right, masterminded the entirety of Civil War, and everyone's cool with him now.
Yeah, and even the Contessa person is supposed to be a villain usually, and now it's just a hero. And all you have left for evil was Carly and her little one world, one people gang. It was it was very weak, and I don't think it's completely their fault. Again, I'm cutting this show a lot of slack because of the COVID stuff, but they had a whole like virus plot line apparently that was canceled because they didn't want to do that during COVID because it would hurt people like a lot of at home. Like it would hurt people a lot at
Yeah, I
home.
think there were hints of that in the second episode, right?
Yeah, something about that, but I guess they had to cut all of that too.
It's unfortunate, but I'm glad with what we got in the end, and I think this show was way better than WandaVision.
Oh yeah, WandaVision was something. See, the way I feel is like WandaVision was too like they did exactly they teased everything and then did nothing. This show teased nothing but still managed to do something. That's how I kind of see it.
Exactly, I completely agree with
Yeah.
that.
All right, so let's talk about the huge reveal that we totally didn't know about earlier. No way.
Totally.
What? Sharon is the power broker? The surprise. Oh my God. Like
Yeah,
we
this
knew.
gave me some WandaVision flashbacks when people were thinking that Agatha Harkness was Agnes, and no one was surprised when that reveal ended up being realized.
Yeah, they made a whole song and a music video, and the song went number one, and nobody was surprised. But the song went number one, so they were cool. Sharon's the power broker. I think her again, like the GSP thing, that just hurt because he's a cool guy and a cool character, and I didn't want him to be wasted the way he was. But it was all part of that reveal. What was Sharon's end game in all of this? Like she just wanted her job
I
back?
think Sharon's end game was she's using this job as an opportunity to spy on the government and obtain secrets.
I get that, but what was her like? Was that the goal to like, to get back into the government and then control it from there? Because she has a higher chance of getting caught now. She's just happy in Madripoor. She was rich.
Yeah, she wanted to get her government position
Oh,
back
I see.
because that's what she was like. Yo, you got to give me the pardon. Remember?
Yeah, I guess it's a cool thing. Is she the next big bad? Is the real question. I want to know.
I'm not really sure how I feel about that because I was actually a big fan of her character in previous films. So it was kind of jarring to see how she went from being such a steadfast hero to now being someone who doesn't really have as many of those heroic qualities.
I read something somewhere where it was like because she liked Cap, so she like had the super soldier serum, so she could duplicate Cap,
Oh man,
and that's
it's
that's
a
kind of
pretty
painful.
wild theory.
I mean, Cap left her for her what grand aunt or something.
It's a weird family relationship we won't go into
Yeah,
here.
we're not gonna go into that, but yeah, I guess show was really enjoyable. Sharon reveal was lackluster. Villain was a little lackluster, but everything like from an entertainment point of view, I liked it. I guess if we're not being over picky for like 1 second, it was just a solid episode through and through. And on the first watch, like I think,
Falcon's speech was pretty powerful, and I think it was a great way to end this show.
yeah, exactly. We had nothing but praise for this entire thing. Falcon's speech, especially as you just said, like it was so motivating, and it was cool to see like him not go completely because Isaiah's kind of the guy who's been so like fed up by the government and everything that he's just like screw everything. And then Falcon's kind of showing that you move up, like you can do different, you can fight because you've fought all this time. Let's fight more. And he kind of just proves it to Isaiah at the end, which is a very heartwarming scene when he takes him into the Cap Museum and he shows him the new statue they made for him. And if you look close and you read it, it basically tells Isaiah's story that he was one of the dozen guys who was taken with like without their permission and experimented on to perfect the serum after Steve Rogers died. So it's cool that they kind of motivated everyone at the end. It's a very heartwarming scene in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the show everyone deserved their nice little happy ending with the cheers at the end, right? It was a
I think
barbecue,
yeah,
wasn't
there
it?
was there was a little like a gathering, a family gathering at the end. A nice way to run it down. And at the end, they had a little Captain America and the Winter Soldier instead of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I do have a complaint about that, by the way. I would have appreciated Captain America and Bucky. Why Winter Soldier? Because he just made all these amends. He had that really cool scene with the guy whose like son he killed, and then he's still the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, or Bucky Barnes. 'Cause I think Captain America and Bucky doesn't have the same ring to it as
Yeah, Captain America and Bucky Barnes is cool. Just take
yeah,
Winter Soldier out of it. Call him the White Wolf for all I care. Just stop
Captain
calling
America and the
him.
White Wolf.
Yeah, exactly. um,
I agree,
Basically in total our biggest criticism was just showing not telling could have benefited this show.
100%. Yeah, I think they pronounced a lot of their sentiments too explicitly, and it could have benefited from a little bit more
Hmm.
subtle.
Wouldn't have been really cool if in the post credit scene, instead of having revealed that and killing off GSP's character and doing all that, instead of that, wouldn't it have been really cool if Sharon they kind of just like had found the name. And I think we were talking about this earlier too, that they had just found the name like Curtis Jackson and realized that doesn't exist and then traced it back to an alias and then realized that it was Sharon Carter. And right at the end, they like pulled up her picture or just had like a side profile, very Thanos esque side profile of her, and just realized that she was it.
Yeah, like an end credit scene where you realize that Sharon was behind this entire thing, right?
Exactly. That would have been so much cooler than just explicitly having like GSP come on and be like, "You are the power broker." Like,
Exactly.
there was no reason for that at all. And even before the speech, there was a time where they kept calling him Black Falcon, and I just don't remember a single time where anyone has ever called him Black Falcon in the MCU.
There was this cheesy ass line. Speaking of show and not telling, where this guy just goes, "No, that's Captain America," in
Yeah, yeah,
response to
yeah,
that
yeah.
Black Falcon comment.
With, with the phone, he was like, "Nah, that's Captain America." I was like, "Yo."
Oh my god.
Like We get it. We know. We know.
It's
Trust me.
cheese
Trust me.
land
We
out
know.
here.
Yeah, that was a bit much. If you just shown, you already had shown it. See, that's what pisses me off. They showed it already. They had him have the most like epic Captain America entrance with the wings and the breaking through the glass and the catching the shield, and you didn't have to have dude with phone say, "Hey, that's Black Falcon," and then the other dude go, "Nah, that's Captain America." I was like,
It's like we know.
yeah, and the whole Flag Smasher villain arc, I feel like they spent too long just talking about, you know, just showing why it was such a bad thing for people, like the way they were being treated, instead of just having subtleties there. You didn't have to like go all out with those guys,
Exactly.
if, especially because they were so underused and through no fault of the producers. Just the Flag Smashers got half their whole storyline cut, so just be more subtle with that entire thing.
I think balance was certainly a necessity when it comes to this show, and they definitely picked sides when it came to the characters.
But again, that's just us being way too over picky. And all in all, we did enjoy this episode a lot. And this has been the best MCU series that I've seen so far. Anyways, let us know what you think. I think Captain America 4 was announced already. Let us know what you think about all that we saw in this. What do you think Captain America 4 will do? And we will see you very soon when the next Disney Plus show comes out, which is Bad Batch. Leave all your comments about what you thought about this series and what you think about Captain America 4 down below. That's all we got for you right now. Peace.